Yes, the Copa America quarterfinals will be getting underway tomorrow with Argentina, this side, Argentina playing against Ecuador to get us underway. Guys, today I'm going to go have a look through all the quarterfinal games. I'm going to see what we can kind of pick out from the teams, what we've seen so far from them in the group stages, and who I think ultimately will go on to the semi-finals. So if you do like this, I am trying to get up to 200 subscribers. I'm so close, and then from there, hopefully going on to 500. So if you do like this content, make sure you subscribe. Let me know in the comment section down below. But with that all being said, let's get into it. So let's get into it. We'll talk about the first game, which is happening on Thursday night. It's between Argentina, the reigning champions, and Ecuador. As we say, Argentina, reigning champions of the Copa America and the World Cup. There's a lot of reasons to suggest that they will easily win this game. Looked very comfortable in their group, didn't concede a single goal. And now they finally got a Lautaro Martinez who's firing all cylinders. He's looking in great form. When you've already got Messi, who's still playing at a very high level and a lot of talent, especially in defence as well, and Emi Martinez in goal. There's not much to say about Argentina at this point, just the fact that they've got a very strong team. But this will be an interesting game because Ecuador have a lot of young talent. They've got nothing to lose, and they did very well themselves in their group. Okay, yeah, they finished second and lost to Venezuela, but a very good nil-nil draw against Mexico that I'm sure that Ecuadorians will be proud of. They've got players like Kendry Baez, Salimiento, from Brighton, and obviously Moises Caicedo. Regardless of what you think about his time at Chelsea so far, he's a workhorse. He is very good defensively. Needs to improve a lot going forward, but in this Ecuador team, he has a lot of qualities that will help them as well. So yeah, nothing to fear from Ecuador playing against probably the best team in the tournament, or at least one of them, reigning champions as well. It's going to be an exciting game. Obviously, the expectations there for Argentina to win, but can Ecuador cause a surprise? The next up for the quarterfinals in the Copa America is probably the weakest lineup. It's Venezuela against Canada. Just because it's weak doesn't mean it won't be an exciting one. I think in the Euros, if we're going to look across, the quote unquote weakest game was Austria against Turkey, ended up being one of the more exciting games. So it's not necessarily going to be the worst one. Don't judge a book by its cover. With Venezuela, obviously finished top of their group with Ecuador, Mexico, and Jamaica. Looked really impressive. They not only did they win their group, they won all three games as well. And if we're looking at their chances for the World Cup, they're currently on course for their first ever involvement in the World Cup. They're above Brazil even in the sort of standings at the moment, so they're looking extremely exciting. If we look at their games in the group stage, both Belo and Rondon, as most people know from the Premier League, both have got two goals. Rondon is very much so a target man. He is perfect for international football. The idea of just being able to lob a ball up to him and his hold up play is superb, regardless again of what people think about his time in the Premier League has been super good. And also, eyes will be on Real Sociedad left back. I always struggle to pronounce it, so if anyone knows how to say it in the comment section, let me know. But it's Aramburu. And I've seen a few games for Venezuela. The way he bombs up and down the pitch, very exciting at such a young age as well, will cause a lot of problems for Canada. Canada, they only won one game, only scored one goal as well. So there are some doubts about what Canada can do in the knockout phases of this tournament, but they do have talent. We all know about Jonathan Davis, we all know about Alfonso Davis as well, and there's other talent throughout their team as well. So I'm sure that they'll be able to cause some sort of upset. As for Canada and Panama, they're the only two representatives left of the CONCACAF Federation. So I'm sure they'll be wanting to make them proud after both Mexico and the US surprisingly bowed out early of the competition, and so did Jamaica, a little bit more expected. But with this game, I think again the expectation is that Venezuela, who finished top of their group, will qualify for the semi-final, which would be a huge, absolutely fantastic achievement for them. But I'm sure Canada will cause a lot of problems and will put up a fight as well because I'm sure they will want to keep going in this tournament. The penultimate game in the quarterfinals of the Copa America is between Colombia and Panama. Now, for me, Colombia have been the most exciting team of all of South America and in this tournament as well. They're currently on a 26 game unbeaten streak, which is incredible. They've played teams like Germany, like Spain as well. So it's not just teams in South America that this run is from, it's also from some of the best teams in Europe as well. They just play with so much freedom, so much creativity. The way that they go forward is just remarkable. Definitely one of the strongest teams in the tournament, and I really think that they could go to the semi-final, if not the final, of this competition. You know, a super exciting team. But they will be playing against Panama. I know, you know, if you're on a 26 game unbeaten streak, you're hoping that you don't lose that to Panama. With no disrespect to Panama, but they're not obviously of the size of, Germany, Spain, Brazil, Argentina. Nonetheless, Panama did just knock out the US in a 2-0, 2-1 win. Okay, the US had nine men, but it's still a huge accomplishment for their country, for them. They've actually scored six goals so far in the group stages, which makes them the second highest goal scorers. You know, they do score goals and they find a way to hit the back of the net, and that will be a key factor in this game against Colombia, who, as we've talked about, they look so good. But will they be able to keep Panama at bay? Because they are currently looking pretty good in front of goal. You know, besides the defeat to Uruguay, they won their last two games, a 3-0 win against Bolivia, I believe. So they're looking exciting. This is an exciting game. It could go either way, even though a lot of people will stick with Colombia. Panama should feel confident, especially with their ability to hit the back of the net. Last up is the probably the most exciting game of them all in the quarterfinals. It's Brazil, it's Uruguay, two of the biggest powerhouses in world football. And really, I think we can expect quite a cracker of a game. Brazil, okay, yes, they've been pretty disappointing in the group stages. They were punished last time in a 2-0 defeat against Uruguay when they last met. But Brazil needs to bounce back. They need to have an answer for what's been going on recently because it's not good enough. They're currently sixth, I believe, in the table to qualify for the World Cup, which is far below what we would ever expect from them. They're below the likes of Venezuela, Ecuador, Colombia, Uruguay, Argentina. So it's really disappointing from them. And I think some of their boys who play for Real Madrid, like Vini Jr. and Rodrigo, really are having a bit of a hangover from winning the Champions League. I know that Vinny scored twice against Paraguay, but it's still been far from exciting from him as well. As we look for Uruguay, though, they've won all three games, like Argentina, like Venezuela. They've been completely in control, dominated all of their games, even in the last one against the US, where they desperately needed a win themselves. It's an exciting time for Uruguay. They've got so much talent in their team from Darwin Nunez, Facundo Pelestri, Fede Valverde, Manuel Ugarte, Ronaldo Araujo. So there's a lot of talent throughout the Uruguayan side, and it's very much so reminiscent of what we've seen from Leeds over the last few years under Bielsa, as he's now the manager at Uruguay. What we see from Uruguay is that hard, aggressive pressing, very clinical with the ball, no more than two or three touches in the final third, really trying to stretch defence as much as possible. And we've seen the rewards of that. Darwin Nunez has scored three of his last four games. Uruguay beat both Argentina and Brazil in the last year as well, and they're very much on course to qualify for the World Cup. So I think a lot of people will expect Uruguay to win this game against Brazil, despite the history of Brazil, despite the talent that they obviously have as well. But they need to have an answer for the disappointing results in the group stage, and I'm sure that they'll be putting all of their focus into this game against Uruguay to right their wrongs. Guys, thank you as always for supporting the channel, for watching it this far. Let me know what you think. Who do you think is going to go far in the tournament? Who do you think is going to bow out here at the quarterfinal stage? As I said at the start, I'm looking to get to 200 subscribers. I'm just four away from that right now. So if you can hit that subscribe button, that would mean a lot to me, and like the video and let me know your thoughts down below. But as always, guys, it's been a pleasure. Peace out.